नमस्कार। आपका अभिनंदन। मैं हूं सुधांशु रंजन। आज आपके कार्यक्रम तथ्यतः में हम एक ऐसी शख्सियत से आपकी मुलाकात करवा रहे हैं जो भारतीय नहीं है, हिंदू नहीं है, लेकिन भारतीय दर्शन, भारतीय संस्कृति के प्रचार में लगे हुए हैं। ये ब्राज़ील के रहने वाले हैं, जोनस मैटिस, जिनको हम आचार्य जोनस मैटिस कहते हैं, उसी नाम से उनको जाना जाता है। और उन्होंने एक और नाम ले लिया है, आचार्य विश्वनाथ। यानी आचार्य जोनस मैटिस या आचार्य विश्वनाथ, जो भी आप कहना चाहें। और उनको भारत सरकार ने पद्मश्री से सम्मानित किया है 2020 में। प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी ने मन की बात में उनकी चर्चा की थी। वो मानते हैं कि वेदांत दर्शन जो है, उसी से जीवन में शांति मिलती है और जीवन का क्या अर्थ है, जो गहन दर्शन है, संसार क्यों है, सब कुछ अगर आपको जानना है तो वेदांत दर्शन की ओर ही आपको जाना पड़ेगा। तो मिलिए आचार्य जोनस मैटिस या आचार्य विश्वनाथ से, और आचार्य विश्वनाथ। वेलकम टू दिस शो। First of all, I would like to know, because whatever I have read about you, you are basically an engineer. You did your engineering course from the Institute of Military Engineering, and you also served the Brazilian Army for a few years, and then you also served the stock exchange. And then finally, you shifted towards spiritualism because you did not feel satisfied. So, first of all, tell us about yourself, and then we shall carry on the conversation.
ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् श्रीजगन्मातरं देवीं स्थितधिपद्मकासनं हृदयसागरातीतं गोमतीं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम्। Oh, okay.
Thank you. So, first of all, which mantra have you just recited?
These are two mantras. One is for the Guru Parampara, invoking the grace of the Parampara, the masters, and starting from Shiva, Sadashiva Samarambham, Shankaracharya Madhyamam, passing through Shankara, and Asmadacharya Paryantam, and reaching out to my own teacher. I salute all the lineage of teachers. And the second mantra,
Yes. Because you have invoked your Guru and the Guru Shishya Parampara, which is so important in India. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Deva Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. So, did you take proper Diksha, properly initiated by your Guru Dayanand Saraswati?
exactly, I did.
So it was a proper initiation.
Yes, Yagnopavita Ityadi.
Okay. So you are spreading, or you are rather immersed in Indian philosophy, especially Vedanta. And Vedanta is the end of Ved, the Vedas. So it is, I think, you can summarize as the summum bonum of the Vedas. How do you visualize, or how do you expound the philosophy of Vedanta?
Sure. So the philosophy of Vedanta goes in two steps. The first step is to accepting the person that we are, because we have so many concepts about how we should be, and also the comparison with other people, that without accepting the jiva, the person that we are, is not possible to go ahead more deep in Vedanta. Once we accept our limitations as a person, and we understand like our flaws, our traumas, our pain, and we are able to release them, then we are able to see what is behind the person. In other words, what is the subject that is looking to the mind, to the emotions, to the thoughts. That's what we call Paramatma, the consciousness. So on the second step, we are going to learn what is consciousness. What is the reality that is behind this temporary form in a body as a person? And on that, Vedanta says Tattvamasi. This reality that you are as a person is not separate or different than the reality of the cause of the whole creation. In other words, you are Ishvara. This is the message.
So there are three schools. One is Advait, as expounded by Adi Shankar, and then there is Vishishtadvait, qualified non-dualism. First is non-dualism of Shankar, then qualified non-dualism Vishishtadvait of Ramanuj, and then Dvaitvad of Madhvacharya. What you are saying, I think that is close to Dvait, Madhvacharya. Would you like to explain?
Sure. So the Vedas are so profound that once we listen to this knowledge, the knowledge does not get to the right place in the first moment. So you explain to a person that he is Ishvara and he thinks that he's a part of Ishvara, or that he has to qualify himself, or he's a ray of the Supreme Consciousness. But actually, the message is that there is only one consciousness, like in a dream. In a dream, there are many people in a dream, but there is only one dreamer, only one consciousness. This is the vision of Advaita. The other visions, Visishtadvaita and all the others, they are just stepstones for you to get to this point where you understand there is just one reality, oneness.
How do you evaluate your own spiritual growth? How far have you attained the Godhead? Would you like to tell us or share your experience about your spiritual
Sure.
journey?
Mhm. So in the beginning of my process, it was very hard because I was raised in a very difficult situation. I have a family that came from a very poor background and not a consistent family. So it took me maybe 3, 4 years to be able to heal my mind, to be able to be a calm person, to be loving, to give up hatred, and all these things that were in my mind by the time I started studying. After that, with a lot of japa and puja and many other sadhanas, I was able to enter properly the study of Vedanta. Once you are on the study and you do like a Atma Yatra, a long-term study with a guru, then you are not more discussing your individuality, but learning about this deeper meaning of the word Atma. On this process, if the mind is qualified, it does not take long to have the vision. So this vision will happen sooner or later, depending on the karma of each one, and you understand what the Atma is, as I did and many other students and teachers of this tradition have done. Once this is understood, there is a necessity of nishta, meaning you know, but you should be able to abide on your daily life on this vision. And this takes some more years of, practice, sadhana, and study to do. So for each person is a different time. For me, it was when I was there in the Gurukulam with my teacher. And then after that, as let's say the vision of Atma does not get, how I say, developed because it's the oneness. But the understanding of yourself and the grow as a person will keep going.
You are talking about karma. So you also believe that the karma has its role, and that is a perennial debate between fate and free will. How far a person is bound by fate and how far the free will decides the action of a person. Even
Mm-hmm.
Shankaracharya has written about it. Sanchit Karm, Prarabdha and Kriyaman. I think you must have read about all this. Sanchit Karm,
Sure.
like bank balance, and the
Mm-hmm.
Prarabdha is when the Sanchit Karma starts giving its fruits, and Kriyaman is your present action. So your destiny is decided by your karma, and what you are doing that will be setting your destiny for the future.
Mm-hmm.
If destiny is so important, because that is a debate has been going on. I want to do something, but I can't. As the Gita say, karmanyavadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana, because a person does not have any control over the results of his own action. So Lord Krishna says that you are only supposed to do and don't worry about the result. So how do you see the relationship between the fate and the free will?
So this is not my opinion. This is just what have studied. What we see is that karma has a very important role to play because of the prarabdha. Everything that is going to unfold in our lives is somehow written in our karma book, let's say. But at the same time, this karma was planted. It was some moment in the past we have done actions to bring this result that we cannot see from where it's coming, but it's coming. And at the same time, things that we do right now will add to this karma. But this does not mean that what we do now will be enough to change all the other things that we have done. So the vision of, in a Vedanta perspective, is that the free will is relative. It's not false, and you cannot choose freely. You have a relative freedom, like a dog in a leash. The owner is going, wherever the owner goes, the dog is supposed to go. But at the same time, the leash gives him freedom to go here and there. So if today I decide to be a professional swimmer, I cannot. It's out of the reach of my karma. If I want to be a professional chess player, I don't have the mind for it. But in the perspective of my prarabdha karma, I have to make choices. And these choices are important for the results that I'm planting. So I have some freedom, not total freedom when I look to my karmas. At the same
That is
time,
the problem, Acharya Jonas, because I don't know my prarabdha. I don't know what my past karmas are. I want to
yeah,
do something. I am not aware of the limitations that
uh-huh,
are there because of my past karma. I want to do
yeah,
something. I don't succeed. I feel frustrated.
mhm,
So either I take it as my destiny and then console myself that this is my destiny, and whatever little I have read, in no scripture it is given when a particular karma will give its result. Maybe after 100 years or 1,000 years, or maybe after 1 month or in a minute, one doesn't
mhm.
know. At least, as far as I know, nowhere it is written how much time it will take to give the result.
Yeah, I understand, but it's not true because you can do prashna and you can go to different people that has the ability to see the prarabdha karma, and they will talk all your life without you telling anything about it, and will answer your question about your prarabdha karma. And if you are not sure, you go to the second person without telling that you were was with the first person. And when three people tell you the same prarabdha karma without you telling anything, then you are sure the prarabdha karma is there. So the means to understand the prarabdha karma is Jyotisham.
So you believe in astrology, in astrological predictions.
I don't believe this is what the Veda give us. I cannot accept Vedanta without accepting Ayurveda, Jyotisham. It's one body of knowledge. Mhm.
Jyotish is also one of the six schools, Jyotish. So I can say from my personal experience that some astrological predictions were quite true, others were not true, but that does not mean that it falsifies the whole concept of astrology. But anyway, that is
Mhm.
different. I also believe in astrology, but coming back to the philosophy of Vedanta, Shankaracharya also wrote commentary on Upanishads, and there is concept of Prasthantrayi, Upanishads, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, and Brahma Sutra, because he kept in these three Prasthan, which is Shruti Prasthan, Upanishad, Smriti Prasthan, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, and Nyaya Prasthan, that is Brahma Sutra. We find that the appeal that the Srimad Bhagavad Gita has, that appeal Brahma Sutra does not have, though it is Nyaya Prasthan. Srimad Bhagavad Gita has been able to connect itself with the people because it addresses so many problems of the society. I don't know why Brahma Sutra could not be so popular. Would you like to talk about it also?
Of course. What happened is that the Smriti, the Bhagavad Gita, it was written for Kali Yuga, you know. So it will address like the way our current mindset works. But when we go for Brahma Sutras is a let's say a summary of all the Upanishads that were written for another time where the mind was much more qualified. So it's naturally that you're going to find the Gita more appealing. And the Brahma Sutra is extremely difficult because even nowadays people have not studied even one or two Upanishads. Imagining looking to the summary of all the Upanishads. So traditionally, the Brahma Sutra is only studied after this person has a proper study with a guru of all the 10 Upanishads. Then he goes for the Brahma Sutra and will understand because he already understood the Upanishads by themselves. And before going to Upanishads and Brahma Sutra, you start with the Gita, because the Gita is talking to the current mindset. So it's just a process of going.
There are many stories about Shankaracharya that he could fly in the sky, and even after renouncing the world, he did not leave his mother. In fact, there are three saints in India who never left their mothers: Shankaracharya, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Swami Vivekanand. And it is said that when he got the news of the death of his mother, he went through the sky route. There was no aeroplane. Do you believe in all these things that he could fly?
I never heard that Shankaracharya could fly, but I understand that tapas can bring some different siddhis, and not that the person will choose which siddhis they will have, but in the name of self-growth and self-realization, the tapas are done, and some siddhis manifest, and many things are not explicable. You know, here in Brazil, also, if you go to the Amazon forest, you will see people getting rid of cancer, for example, with one prayer. You see people doing things that you can't imagine. And this is spread all over the world in every culture to show us that what we sense as reality in the material world is not real, you know. So
So you
these
are
cities
saying
are
that
there to
in
remind
the
us.
forest of Amazon, you have saints, as we say that in the Himalayas, there are saints doing tapas. So
Yeah,
same kind of thing you find in Amazon also.
exactly. And the chants, they are very similar in Sanskrit terms also.
So they are all saints who are doing tapas in Amazon. How many can you count or innumerable?
I cannot count, but I can tell you one thing. The Amazon nowadays is the only place in the world where there are still people living that have no contact with modern civilization. They live still in the same way they were living thousands and thousands of years ago without meeting anyone. Just there, you know, in the ashram, the gurukulam, and there. It's
So
a
do
it's
they
a
have any
big
dwelling
how I
place in
say
Amazon, or they just live like a vagrant, having nothing, no dress, no food, no place to stay,
nothing, just
nothing.
a forest.
Food, they just eat leaves or fruits of the jungle of the forest.
Yeah, exactly. There are still people like this. It's amazing to know. But the spiritual tradition is not so well preserved as in India, you know. So when you go there, you know, you see things that you say, my God, I think I'm in India, you know. Even the name of the Aushadams and things are the same as in India. The the word forest in the native language is also Vanam, you know. It's so amazing to see, you know.
But Rudyard Kipling wrote, "The East is East, the West is West, the twain shall never meet." And you are representing the blend of two civilizations, spreading the Indian philosophy, the Indian thought.
Mhm.
Would you like to comment on what Kipling wrote?
Sure, that's something very important, né? Because I was born in Rio de Janeiro. I studied as a mechanical engineer. I was in the army, and I was like living a life that everybody would, I believe, enjoy and would like to have. You know, an apartment, a life, a position in the company, and I could see very clearly in some moment of my life that that was not going to give me satisfaction. I was very anxious. I was going down the hill internally, you know. Externally, I was having a lot of success, but internally, I was destroying myself. On that moment, I got this blessing of meeting my first teacher and started my yoga and Vedanta studies. After many years, I went to India and stayed with Swami Dayananda Saraswati in Coimbatore in the ashram. I spent 4 years and a half with him and more, maybe 7 years studying with my own teacher. And I came back to Brazil to spread the Vedanta knowledge. And I did that for 12 years. During this process, you know, I understood that because my origin was from Brazil, that I should also look upon what was the original spirituality from Brazil. So I went to the Amazon, to different villages, and started like understanding what they had. And I got surprised because they have what I call the Amazon Vedas, like sacred chants in ancient language that heal people, that heal the mind, that help a person to grow. And like that, I got connected back to these roots of my origin in this Janma, you know, as a Brazilian. So I can say that I am a representative of the Vedic culture, but I also walk on the path of the forest.
But how did it occur to you that you can find solace in the Indian philosophy? You must have read scriptures of other religions, Christianity, Islam, Judaism, you must have read all those scriptures, and only after going through them, you must have come
No,
to the conclusion that if
uh,
final solace is to be got, it is in India.
it was not like that.
Yeah.
Actually, I was in a very big conflict, not knowing what to do of my life and how to find answers to my happiness. And I did a very powerful prayer, very meaningful prayer. And after this prayer, I was instructed to study yoga and Vedanta. And like that, my spiritual path began, you know. So I did not do any research or uh, researched other religions or anything. And even for myself, you know, I don't see the tradition as a religion. I see it as a source of knowledge. I see the Vedas as the heart of the spirituality of all the planet and all the religions.
So technically, have you embraced Hinduism, or you are a practicing Christian but also following the preachings of Vedanta?
I follow the Vedas, and I can say that I follow Hinduism. But you know, before the English came to India, you know, people that follow the Vedas would not call themselves Hindus. They were just people, you know, following the Vedas. And I believe that if we understand that, we become bigger than any religion, you know, because the message of the Vedas is not only for India or for a person that call itself Hindu, you know, it's for the human being. Astrology, Ayurveda, Artha Shastra, Vedanta, they're all tools to help a person to understand who he is, you know. It's bigger than a religion. It's part of a religion, but it's bigger than. If
So,
I if I have to call
suppose is
myself, I
technically
would
it is
call
whether one
myself,
is practicing Christian or a Muslim, you follow the preachings of these scriptures and you find
yes,
solution in them.
exactly. So if I have to call myself, I have to call myself Hindu because I use vibhuti, I use dhoti, I wear a japamala, I pray for Shiva, for Ganesha. But if you ask me to go maybe into a church, I would go and pray. I don't have any problem with that because I believe God is just one. And I don't believe that, you know, a person needs to label itself as being part of this or that. You know, if the person is an honest person, wanting to become a better person and living a life of dharma, this is everything that the Vedas is asking for.
But there is also a problem. A large number of people are becoming non-believers, atheists, because they think that religion is the root cause of many problems in the world. So much of conflict in the name of religion, killings, massacres. So they are turning into atheists.
Mhm. That's true. And that's what people do. Né? They take the message of saints, the message of the Vedas, and then they transform that in some sort of religious group, and then after that they start to fight each other out of a search of power. It's something very sad, But if you look to the heart of any religion in the world, it will tell you the same thing: to love your neighbor, to respect your parents, to praise God.
And now the last question, what are you doing? I have heard that you are running gurukuls and preaching students there. So a few words about your work, your students, your gurukul, and then we shall wind up this conversation.
Sure. There is something special that I want to share with you. After the Padma Shri, I was thinking about my role to play also towards Bharata, because Bharata has so many good teachers, Vedanta teachers, and people ask me to give lectures and to speak. And I was thinking that my best contribution would be to bring the value of the Vedic tradition to the youngsters in India. Because many of them are so enchanted with this Western way of life, that they don't understand the value of their own culture.
अगर आपको ये साक्षात्कार अच्छा लगा हो तो आप कृपया इसको सब्सक्राइब और शेयर करें। बहुत धन्यवाद। नमस्कार।